Johnson tweeted his support for the coach, and Jeanie Buss tweeted this picture of herself with Walton and GM Rob Pelinka and said, "On my way to Memphis for the Lakers game, dinner with Rob and Luke tomorrow night, barbecue, hashtag #InLukeWeTrust." Woo, love some good barbecue. Skip?
Where they get that out here?
Skip knows about barbecue. Skip, what's going on here?
Unfortunately, I grew up. I ate it every night of my life until I was 18 years of age, and I don't want any more. Thank you very much.
Come on,
I'm done.
Understood.
Yeah.
You from the Southwest and don't like barbecue?
I don't know. It's a long story. I'll tell you it later. This Lakers soap opera, it's getting soapier because this is about to reach a boiling point.
Yep.
So this is coming from one Brian Windhorst, a friend of mine from ESPN, who knows the NBA. And he especially knows all things LeBron James because he's covered LeBron since he was like in 8th grade. And LeBron has publicly cited, "Brian, nobody knows more about my background than Brian Windhorst." So I quote Brian Windhorst as saying, "Whatever you want to say about LeVar Ball, he smoked out the fact that the Lakers do not support Luke Walton." I've said on this show, I'm not the biggest Luke fan. I don't love the way he's coached this team so far. Obviously, I'm a Lonzo fan, so maybe I'm a little biased in my perspective. I'll be the first to admit. But Mr. Windhorst is saying that he has spoken to many people around the NBA, from coaches to executives to just insiders. And again, he keeps hearing open conversation about, wonder who the Lakers are going to hire to replace Luke Walton. And the name that keeps popping up is one David Fizdale. You know Fizz from those years in Miami. LeBron obviously knows Fizz from his 4 years in Miami. I've always been a big fan of Coach Fizdale. I was shocked that he was fired so quickly in Memphis. I didn't think he deserved it, but he got sideways with his star, Marc Gasol. And we both said, wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
But
After making the playoffs.
He coached his tail off against my San Antonio Spurs. They took him to 6, and they were nail biters down to the wire each time. So he's on the market. He's from Los Angeles, went to Fremont High School right here in L.A., and I think he'd be a great fit in Los Angeles. And yet, the X factor here, as you point out, Joy, is Jeanie Buss. So she is an owner of the Lakers, principal primary owner of the Lakers, but we haven't heard anything from one Magic Johnson, who is the new president of the Lakers. So I ask, who has veto power? Who has final say? I'm just silly me. I'm going to hope it's Magic, the new president, but I don't know that for a fact. So now, in the last couple of weeks, Jeanie has gone out of her way to tweet hashtag #InLukeWeTrust. And clearly, she enjoys Luke's company. They like to go to dinner, and she puts the picture of her and the new GM, Rob Pelinka, along with Luke, and they're all looking forward to having barbecue in Memphis. I get all that. Luke's a great guy. But is he the right coach for this team? Could I make a case that LeBron would at least be a little more interested in the Lakers if David Fizdale were the coach going into next year? Maybe. Maybe. So the Lakers obviously have won 4 in a row, but I would say against highly questionable competition because it's been Atlanta, Sacramento, the Spurs' second team, and now at Dallas was probably the most impressive win in overtime. But I think the fact remains, I think we're back to LeVar Ball once again. Whatever you think of him, there's always truth in what he says. And I think there's a lot of truth. Maybe it's just coming from his son. Maybe it's coming from inside the locker room. It doesn't do his son much good to blurt the truth publicly. But is there truth to the fact there's some friction between locker room and Luke Walton? Yes. I think there's a fact that's happening. Would David Fizdale be interested in this job? Boy, I think he'd be great for this job. So I'm going to trust Brian Windhorst's reporting that there is something to this.
Luke Walton's on borrowed time.
Yep.
If the players are as disgruntled as Brian Windhorst is reporting, it's only a matter of time. But my question to you, what have they done? What have they accomplished to be disgruntled at Luke Walton? Nothing.
Fair question.
And I told you, Skip Bayless, when a family member or significant other speaks about what's happening in the locker room, he's getting it from somewhere because he's not there. I can't tell you what's going on in New England because I'm not in that locker room or I don't talk to anybody in that locker room. I keep telling people that. People pillow talk. Lonzo Ball was telling his dad what was being discussed in the locker room. That's why he felt comfortable to say it. Everybody, oh, well, how you know? I'm telling you because I know.
Yep.
That's why I was very, very careful to make sure I didn't stud things I didn't want to get out. I didn't tell.
Yep.
I always told my mom, even though you're your own individual and my brother and I, we're our own individual, people think you speak for us. My sister, I never worried about that because my sister don't like TV or talking on the phone, so I didn't even have to worry about that. Skip, there was some truth to this from the very get-go. LeVar Ball wouldn't have stepped out here like this here and said, he said, the guys don't like playing for Coach Walton. He didn't say my son.
He did not.
He said the guys. Where you get that from, Skip? LeVar Ball is in Lithuania. LeVar Ball is in China. But he knows what's going on in the locker room. How does somebody know what's going on in the locker room?
Because he has a great source. His number one son.
Exactly. It's only going to be a matter of time. But Skip, the thing is that how different would Coach Kerr look had he taken over an aging New York Knicks with a starring Carmelo Anthony, as opposed to the Golden State Warriors? Now, you people got to remember, Steph and Draymond and Clay was in year like 4 and 5.
And Mark Jackson had taught them the ropes of how you do this. How do you win games? How mental toughness.
They were a playoff.
How to be a team.
Yes. And they were a playoff team before. When was the last time the Lakers won 50 games? They might have not won 50 games in the last 2-3 years combined. But now all of a sudden they feel they got cachet. We want Coach Walton out of here. That's why we're not playing well. I wish him the best. I hope they get somebody in there they'll want to play for.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.